Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bankrupt joins again by Jimmy and Steve.
What the fuck are you doing?
Who, me?
No, he's talking to me. I was waiting for you to say hello, Steve.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't get the verb.
So we are playing, as you can tell, in a less lit area, mainly due to Black Friday being so overwhelming at our local shop, so we couldn't really play there. So Jimmy opened up his home for us to come over and play, and as you can tell, the lighting is, well, slightly off. So what I was doing, I was just kind of checking out how the cards look from the camera. Yes, the light is a little bit glary. Steve is playing SS4 Gogeta. I am playing Magenta, and I think the field looked alright. So let's get into today's matchup. Oh yeah, there's buttons. Feel free to click up there for a reason.
I'd just like to point out, I didn't open up my home. These fuckers just showed up and started playing cards at my house. So that I thought about calling the police, but like I knew Bancroft couldn't have another warrant out for his arrest, so I decided not to, and I just kind of let it happen. But I did turn the dimmer bulbs on, so it would make it a little bit more difficult.
You know, I could just show up the text thread you sent everyone, right?
The Photoshop.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, so Steve, I think at this point you've had no experience against Magenta, correct?
0, correct.
Yeah. So those who aren't familiar, Magenta's a deck that likes to play battle cards, particularly one per turn, and then immediately go, all right, I'll pass. And then from that point on, as long as they keep the battle cards on board, make sure your opponent discard cards. So this kind of breaks down to the idea of you need to have some form of field removal to kind of deal with this deck. And I think early game, I think about midway through, you start picking up on that, how this deck kind of functioned. And I think you start kind of poking at that point. But at start, you're a little bit, I think, surprised. But you do draw a lot with SS4 Gogeta.
Yeah, I've heard from the birdie over the fence of sort of what Magenta did, but yeah, Gogeta is supposed to have like an 18 card hand, and I'm pretty good at keeping it about 11 card hand for some reason. But you did really good at keeping me at about a 6 card hand most of the game. So fun stuff.
Man, I remember when having 6 cards was pretty pog.
Yeah. What was that set? 3 through
like
7?
look at like all of the set 4 promos. They were like, if you have 4 or less cards in hand, this effect happens, and that was like the craziest thing ever. Like what was it? Burst Attack Gohan is like if you have 4 or less cards in hand, you draw 2, and that was like, yo,
yeah,
that you go from a 4 card hand to a 6 card hand. That's fucking crazy.
Those the golden days, man. I remember thinking about like when I was building like red decks, I'm like, should I add this in here? Was this gonna be important in this match? For this deck? Yeah.
We paid 3 energy for that.
Yeah.
Gogeta has a card that you just pay 1 for, and it's just like, I guess you can just draw 3 real quick.
You could just awaken with the leader and then just swing. And then you're drawing 3 cards. So I didn't have any viable 2-drops, unfortunately, to drop on turn 2. So I just kind of put another 1-drop black one on the board. Now I have a combo piece for future plays, or even if I wanted to go into the Z deck, I have a target for it.
Looks like pretty standard stuff from this side of the board for Gogeta.
Minus no unison.
I mean,
so
unisons are bad now.
Steve still plays with the Gogeta unison.
Yeah.
But I don't think you ever were a crown player. Okay, never mind. There's a crown right there. But I can't remember. I think it was Matt. We were telling Matt that the Broly Crown has to be played with the energy now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was unaware that you could play it off the unison, I believe.
Which the unison is still a fantastic card. I feel like with the amount of unison hate that is prevalent right now and so easily available. I mean, there was unison hate before, but it was really difficult to make it work. Where now some cards just have, in addition to other effects, Unison hate, the Gogeta Unison just feels kind of bad to play sometimes. I still think it's a solid option for the Gogeta deck, but I feel that you can go a Unisonless variant of the deck and feel just as good, or go with the Saiyan Scions build, which I think is my preferred way of playing the deck. But I think every version of Gogeta is completely valid because the deck is just that insane.
Well, we talked about it a little bit actually during this day, and actually that was a great negate, by the way. Just one point, it pissed me off, but that was a great negate. In this particular matchup, it's like Matt was talking about sideboarding like the super rare black smoke dragon for like decks like Gogeta, and you would point out like why, like you're paying. They've already paid 2. They already got the Unison. They've already done the +2. They've already established like 10 draws off the card. Well, I guess at max 3 cards off of the interaction of that card alone, and a swing. Like that card got its energy usage, and if you kill it, they can just turn around, redo it, and get that exact same amount of resources just for 2 energy.
Like I think the Black Smoke Dragon card it's a very solid card. I think it's necessary. I think that in some matchups it is 100% worth playing, and I think in others it is just, there is zero reason to spend 2 energy to put that card on field, mainly because it can't attack. That is one of the biggest problems, because if you think about the value that you get off the Gogeta Unison versus the value you get out of putting a 2-drop battle card that can't attack on field that's going to blow up a Unison, you're paying 2 for a top 3 search, a free play, and a swing, where on the other side you're paying 2 to remove a card that already did all of that. Now, of course, the Gogeta Unison can be a big beater. If it stays alive, you can -4 on it, and it's a fantastic beater. You can get exponential value off of it from plussing it multiple turns, but it just feels so bad to play that card against Gogeta. So I feel that out of all of the decks that rely on a Unison, I feel like Gogeta is just like almost like out of the picture, because it's already going to do what it needs to do. But that being said, please keep running Black Smoke Dragon so I don't have to put it in my deck, because I want people to be scared of that card, and I don't want to deal with that shit.
So this is an interesting turn. You chose. I did explain Bio Broly's effect, or its auto. You still swung into it, and here we're kind of talking about the interaction. Like, is this one you sure you want to target? And you're like, yeah, I've already picked it. Let's just stick with it. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll just let it die and just replay it. And that was you discarding the card for its effect. But you still drew like 3 cards, 4 cards, I think. The play, the combo, the combo. Yeah. You got plenty of draws on that card alone. So now you get to swing a second time into it.
And I also forgot to bring out one of my double striker or crit Vegetas or Gokus. I'm not sure. I didn't see which one I actually comboed off, but I did that probably 2 or 3 times this game. And I blame it on Jimmy's Jägermeister drink that he made me that night. So thanks to that, Jimmy.
The benefits of not going to an actual retail store.
I'd also like to point out these guys just showed up and started drinking my alcohol too. Very, very disappointing. Very upsetting.
Don't worry, I'll put the text chain up.
Again, it's Photoshop.
Oh, all right, I won't put it up then.
I want the AOP budget to replace my alcohol, please.
All right, well, as long as you guys are hitting those like buttons and subscribe buttons, we can take care of Jimmy's alcohol.
I need another bottle of Jaeger.
I don't know if that's something I want to support, though. Alcoholism is really bad.
I'll bring us a bottle of Jaeger next time.
All right, sweet.
I got it.
So, I think at this point, you're starting to pick up, like, the problematic part of this deck. And we didn't talk about it, but you did add the Kaioken Son Goku Concentrated Destruction to your hand. So you're ready to, at some point, do a board wipe against me. And I will say, because I am playing against Gogeta. I did side in for this particular matchup, and I do play a couple of what's that good blue extra card called? That I can't recall all of a sudden.
Desperate Measures?
Nope, the one for Gogeta. Counterplay.
Dirty Burst?
Dirty Burst. I knew it was Burst, and I just couldn't remember what it was.
That card sucks.
Sure, until they drop an 8-drop Gogeta on you.
No, just
No,
don't play that card.
no, I have managed to stay at a high life total, so it's kind of alright right now.
So me still being a halfway new player, I did not really realize that the Harudagons and everything else. Those are blue. Those are blue energy. So I didn't even anticipate a dirty burst either way. But I did side out 2 of my Gogeta 8-drops for what is that unison? I got it right here. The 3-drop unison.
Jiren?
No,
Sin?
Sin Shinron?
or is it a 4-drop? You think it's a Vegito?
Oh, the
Oh.
Vegeta, yeah.
I sided those in because I was sort of expecting some type of weird counterplay or something for the Gogeta 8-drop. I've been wanting to test out the Vegito Unison, but I did not see it, I don't think. So it didn't help me at all.
That would be a interesting side effect of the amount of Unison hate around right now. Specifically Black Smoke having to target specified 2 cost, where we might see a lot of the higher cost Unisons become a little more relevant because there's not a lot of cards that interact with those. And having a guaranteed play, even if you're spending more energy on it, is probably worth. It'd be really interesting to see how those Unisons can perform in the meta now.
And not just that, like they were at some point in time actually good. Like certain decks, they were viable, but then like we went back to like very high pace, quick turn base combat pretty much, and they kind of like fell back out of the way. But yeah, they could definitely come back in. But the problem is in some deck, like think about the Gohan. Is spending 3 energy against a Gohan deck worth it if you can't, do anything to their board?
Yep. Of course, most of the higher cost Unisons have some sort of built-in floodgate. The yellow ones tend to give boosts to your leader and themselves if they're in rest mode. The Vegito, I think, gives a floodgate of some sort. I don't remember exactly what that one is. The SS4 Goku for blue, he does a floodgate very similar to the 3-drop Gohan for the Gohan list. Which, in a way, it almost makes that Unison completely obsolete in decks like Gamma. Because now you just have access to a cheaper alternative to it, which is great.
So here we see you're still kind of focusing on my life.
Yeah, at this point, I just need to get through the game. I need to try to take your damage. I need to try to take your life down. Yeah.
And like I'm really just waiting on you to play Gogeta. Then you tap 3 energy. I'm like, okay, never mind. Yep, that's a good card. Forgetting that you added that to your hand.
So you do get to replay the Bio Broly here, but I think any form of removal is solid. You probably could have got away with just tapping 2 to neg something out because you would have got the same value off of it. But you do have a body on field that you can now swing into a Bio Broly in attempts to remove that.
That should have happened probably 3 turns ago, but here we are.
Just as a reminder, I don't think you will point out, Pierce goes back to his normal power at the end of the battle which he was in, so that's why he was unaffected by Kaioken.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually had to double check it real quick. Like, hang on, was I wrong about that? And that was really an interesting play. Like, you stopped me from playing the one drop, which would have caused you to discard 2 more cards, by taking a life. And I think both me and Jimmy were like, yo, what?
Like I think
Get another
in
Villainous card out.
like I think that's not the absolute worst play, because looking at Steve's hand, the hand is dwindling. And while Playtime's Over does play the card with its skills negated, it will regain its skills and the Villainous tag. So he knows that the next turn, if you're going to play a card, you're going to be making him discard a minimum of 3 cards already. So I think burning the life is rough, but I do think it was almost necessary.
I totally agree. Like, because I had full intention of playing both of those play times
Mhm.
back to back and getting both of them on the board.
Mhm.
And here, all you had left really was a pan and a super combo, but you wouldn't have anything you could have bottom decked. And Broly naturally was already at 25k, so. And here you've realized you're like, oh, I didn't even play any of these cards, so it's just
Certainly could have helped.
yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a match considered as a learning thing. Like get some of the newer decks.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've played against some of the other newer stuff already. It just gives you another like form of experience.
Yes, I played against Jimmy's Gohan deck a few times that night. It's crazy, by the way.
It's quick.
But yeah, it's quick. I was not expecting that from my blue deck.
So
it's sweet though.
So with that being said, thank you for your opportunity. Keep in mind, this button symbol. Feel free to click there for a reason. And like always, fluff out.